the topic of this webinar is quite limited. It's about the new user interface of the Windows Pet software. Okay, we created a new cool user interface, and we have noticed that some users find it hard to get used to. Although we have done some study and we believe it's a much easier interface, probably there's a little ramp up needed. In addition, I want to point all the new cool features that we added into that version. So without further delay, okay, Gadi?
Yes.
You please monitor the comments that people are adding to the call. And I'm going to move this to another screen. And I'm going to share here. Okay, I hope everyone can see that. Okay, I've started the pet software in a special mode, special secret mode that pops up this notification here. Just to show you that when the software starts, it's showing you going to the web, checking for new version, and giving you the notification. The first page is made of cards. Each cards give you a little bit of information. That's different to the previous version when this page, this dashboard didn't exist. You had to use the menu. So there's no menu in this page. Everything is directly here. The big card in the middle is just about. You can see the version number. You can minimize it. Next card is the new version found. Let's minimize that too. Your ID. You can put that goes into the file and can also go into your report. A list of tips that you can get. I'm not going to read all these now. What I really ask you to do is, if you have additional tips, you are most welcome to send them to us and we will add them to the list of tips. Okay, getting started is mainly help, tutorial, what's new. And in settings, there's one new feature that I want to show you, which is setting options. The new feature is outdoors high contrast colors. This user interface looks cool at the office, but on the site you're going to be much better with a user interface that looks like that, almost black and white. It gives you a high contrast. It's much more readable under direct sunlight. So just remember you see that. Okay, reverted that. And okay, connect to is what used to be tools data source. I just think that connect to is much more intuitive. You can select the devices. If you have a Bluetooth pet, a USB pet, or not selected. This is only necessary if for the field computer. Of course, you don't have to select anything for the office PC. Now the project card, let's just focus on that, shows you the list of projects just like before. There's a new thing here about newest project. When you copy a project into your home folder, it's going to be up on the top of the list, regardless if you open it or not. So it makes it faster to find the project you recently copied to the folder. Then there's the list of recent projects that you used and all the projects, and you can type XYZ or ABC or whatever, and it's going to jump to the project there. Icons there below is create a new project, browse for a project outside of the home folder, import project from a pet project file. We're going to talk about that soon. Pet project is a new file extension that packs a whole project together. And that's for setting up the home folder where all the folders are stored, just like before. So let's just open one of the projects which are prepared and have a look at the project page. Okay. This table should look quite familiar to you, maybe just a little bit of a different UI, but still you can see a few changes. First of all, there are a few icons that can be seen on the screen. Okay. One of them is the light bulb showing you expert tips. Second one is the location. So that's expert tips, GPS location, and if there's a camera. GPS location can be will be there if you have tested the project with the Android pet, and GPS goes there automatically. And the photo icon goes if you took a photo of this pile. Expert tips is going to be added automatically. A new cool feature, if you tested your piles with the Android pet, is the map. This is the map of the location of the pile. It goes and activates Google Maps, and you can see the location of all the piles. And if you click at them, it's going to open the pile. Now, because it's Google Maps, you can also open the satellite view and really see where this pile is tested. And even more, if it's close to a street, you can actually go to Street View, go to a nearby street, and you can actually see your piles here. Now, mind you that the GPS location is accurate just to 2, 3, maybe 5 meters, depending on conditions. But still, it's quite cool to see the site and where the projects are lying. I'm not really sure yet what's the use of that, besides being really super cool, and the ability to actually show the owner that you've actually been into the site and not tested a different project by mistake. Anyway, it's there. You can hide and show the map using this icon here on top. So hide, show. Fine. Without further delay, let's go to the most interesting page, which is the pile page. So that's the pile page. That's a pile that was tested. And it looks a little bit different than what you used to have. Everything is much more direct. There are no menus here. There was a menu file and file menu. Everything has disappeared. There's no menu here at all. The file name and subsite are just as they used to be. And there used to be icons for next pile, previous pile, so they're here. It's very important to note that every icon now has a hint. And when you just put your icon or your cursor just on top of an icon, and you can immediately see what it does. It makes it easier to learn and to see that. Now, let's go over the new icons just to see what they do. So this icon here on top just hides and shows the impacts panel. You can resize that if you want. Inside the impact panel, there is a move impact to bin. So if I want to move this impact, I can, or something which is new, you can now select a few impacts together, just drag over them. So you can drag them to the bin or undelete them all. You can also sort them. Sort has changed, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. What else has changed? The length mark, a few really tiny things that are helpful. The length mark, if you didn't put it in the right position, you can just right-click it. I'm just right-clicking now, and it's going to snap into position. Let's do that again, somewhere else. I'm just snapping. Now, note that when it's not on location, you get an expert hint telling you a length mark is not on the extreme point. It must always be on the extreme point because the 0 is there, so it makes sense. So just right-click it, and it snaps to position. The expert hint is gone, and you're good. Now let's go over the icons on this row here. That's the icons you're going to work with most of the time. So left one is just save, nothing special about it. Next one is undo. Now, undo is a new feature, and it's super cool. Really, any change that I'm going to make to the file. Let's start. Okay, let's say I'm changing something. Okay, I'm changing the amplification, then the filter, then the sharp, changing the wave speed, blend length. Okay, I completely messed up this file. I've made 6 changes. I can undo them all one by one, just like you have in Word or any other documents. And here you go. So you don't have to remember what you messed up. You can just undo that. The same with deleting impacts. If I've deleted most of the impacts, I can just undo or restore all the impacts. So this undeletes all, or I can undo the impacts. So that's undo. Reset clears all the file, ready to be retested from scratch, or you can undo that. That's exit without changing. Now note that if I've made any change, this window is new. It used to be a simple pop-up. Now it's much more informative. Save and close, close without saving, etc. Now, that used to be a view stacked impact. So now it's a toggle button, which you can toggle on off. It's not a new feature. It's just much more accessible. Same with the FFT curve. It was view FFT curve, and now it's here. Just click on and off. Next is the amplification curve. Not a very useful feature, but still it's there. And you can toggle the amplification feature on and off. And the next one is view repetition marks, which I sometimes really like. It's a really cool feature. Let's say in this file, we might be able to see a second toe reflection if we amplify it enough. So now we want to check if this is really the second reflection here. I put the first one here, and it probably is the second reflection. Now, getting a third reflection is really, really lucky, and yeah, you only get the third reflection in extremely easy files. Okay, so I don't have to think about what I did. I just undo, and I'm happy. I'm back to the same image. Okay, remember there used to be on the data page a radio button saying how certain you are about the length. So here it's turned into a toggle switch. You can 10.1 is a certain depth. If I'm not sure, I can just add a little question mark here. And if I click it again, there's no knowledge about the length. And it's going to appear like a question mark in the report, which is a sign of a good tester. Okay, a good tester always has some doubts. Next is to compare this file to another file, just like it used to be before. So you can compare the current file, which is number 1, is on blue, The compared pile is in orange, and anything that you do to this pile, is any changes, are also going to be shown here to the compare pile. So you can compare apples to apples using the same parameters. And compare, stop comparing. And the next one is a signal matching. Nothing really changed here. Just activates the signal matching. Amplification, filter, sharp, and wave speed are familiar. What has changed is that when you just hover the mouse over the bar, you can see in a light gray thick line what's going to happen when you click anywhere. So if I click here, that's going to happen. Okay, so it just gives you a small preview before you actually do the action. Then there used to be a small A button next to amplification, which indicated auto amplification, and that's just what this icon is now going to do. When you click it, it's going to set this level, the trigger level, and the echo level to the exactly same amplitude. So now you can look at the pile in a canonical way. This level and this level are exactly the same. Once we have this area and this area set, we can, our eye is now used to see the piles this way, and we can start analyzing what's going on in between. Okay, what's next? Next to the amplification is a new icon, which is called attenuation, amplification calculator. You need to plug in the wave speed, the planned length of the pile, the diameter of the pile. Let's say this pile was 1 meter. And the SPT, let's say SPT was 20. So this is going to suggest an amplification, or a very low amplification of 4. Now, I think in this case, these piles are about 60 centimeter in diameter. It suggests amplification of 13. I don't really have information about the SPT N value here. So now remember, this is not carved in stone. It's just a suggestion for a ballpark figure, and it's also very easy to see if you have a very long pile, let's say 29 meters, which is going to be very very slender. It's okay. It's going to give you a very high amplification value, which is an indication that this pile is not really testable. Even if this is 1 meter in diameter, but the SPT is high, you're going to get a very high amplification. And we know by experience that testing a pile with amplification of more than 300-400 is hardly ever a good idea. Okay, next icons. Oh, of course, the most important icon here is the start, which is going to change to wait and then to save if it is there. And just going to wait for it. Okay, now show or take a photo. That's going to activate your camera if you're using this on site. That's going to show you the GPS location. Again, if it was saved with Android. That's a feature that used to be in the data tab. Export, it did not change much. File information is just a new user interface with a little bit more information, gives you information about the pile, how many impacts, location, lat long, and the accuracy of the location, 3.79 meters, and available photo. You can also add the information about the diameter of the pile. Okay, now I saved the file, specifically saved the file with some very noisy data. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you could now process this data much easier. Now, in the old days, on the older version, you need to select one by one, either here or here, and delete. I'm pressing either delete button, or I'm using this icon, and you can delete the impacts one by one. In this version, there's a new cool feature. You can select one of the good traces. Let's say this is a good trace. And now when I'm pressing sort, it's going to sort everything compared to this good trace. So the abnormal impacts are on top. Let's see. These are most different from the impact I selected. And at the bottom, we can see the impact which are most similar. I can select these, let's say up to here. And you can see here that it really selected a very good set of very similar impacts. What I can do now is I can right click, and instead of delete, I can do delete others. That's a cool new feature. And when I click that, I already get a much more uniform set of impacts. I can just now delete this one, which looks a little bit abnormal, and here. Now, okay, that really looks perfect now. Now, we still have 8 very repetitive impacts, which means we did not really lose any information. We just lost some garbage data. Again, we can look at the second reflection here, and even a third one. I know that there is a third reflection here because this is not really a pile. It's a Teflon rod that I have here. I tested on a Teflon rod, so that's a bit of a cheating. Okay, now you can see that I messed the scale a little bit. Right click on the scale or double click on the scale, and it's going to pop right into position. So again, right click on the length mark to put it in place, or the scale to put it in place, or on the amplification to get it automatically, and a lot of new automatic features. Okay, I'm just going through my list to see that I did not forget anything. No. Okay, now let's talk about sharing. And I think we did a nice job here by allowing you to get all the project packed in a special format. Now, when you do the sharing from the Android app, you get a file which is with the extension pet project. We can do it here too. We click share. We can add some some information for anyone that we want to share it. I can tell him, okay, no file number 6 or whatever. I can include or not include the photos and share. Sharing opened a new in the project folder. It created a new file called Telmont. That's the name of the project. .pet project. Now I'm going to close the pet app. Okay, I'm closed everything, and now when I get this file, I can send it by mail, or I can by WhatsApp or whatever. But when I click it, the file is associated with the pet application, just like doc files are associated with Word, or PDF files are associated with Adobe Acrobat, or Excel files are associated with Excel. So I just double click this file, and it opens the pet application. It already tells me that this project exists. Of course it does, because I shared it with myself. And it asks me if I want to share, if I want to import all the files or just the new ones. So in this case, I'm going to tell him to import new files only. And here you go. Very easy, simple way to move projects around, because all your project is now packed into just one file. Now, mind you that this file is actually a zip file, just with a different extension. If I go into Windows and I will rename the file to zip, Windows gonna complain. But anyway, I did it. Oh, sorry, this cannot happen when the application is running. So, okay. So I renamed it. Now it's a zip file. And if I'll open the zip, I can actually see the project packed there. But I still think that using the pet project extension is much more convenient. Again, you got this file by email or by WhatsApp, just click it. It's going to open the pet, import all the files, create a new project for you, and everything. Very easy and very convenient way to move projects around.